Hello and welcome to episode 12 of Assetto Corsa. Today we're going to be looking at two new mods, one car and one track. The car we're going to be looking at is the Shelby Cobra 427, and the track we're going to be looking at is Brands Hatch. So instead of just sitting around in the pits, let's get out on the track and let's see what this car and this track combination is like. The Shelby Cobra 427 is a very old car, where you can see from the styling. It's from the 1960s. I believe the production started in 1962 and finished in 1967. That was already almost into a gravel trap. And well, it's a very important car. To put it into context, for those of you who live in Britain, we all know we have speed limits on the motorways. Well, one of the reasons speed limits were imposed, no, that's not the track, that's the cross. One of the speed limits were imposed was because of this car. In 1963, they were testing a version of this car out, a Le Mans version, preparing for a Le Mans race, and they decided to test this on the M1, and they got it to 183 miles an hour down the M1. Obviously, the British Parliament, the House of Lords, House of Commons, they picked up on this and they thought, oh wow, what a great achievement for a British car. We need to put a speed limit on motorways. So we now have 70 mile an hour speed limits on motorways. So you can thank this car for it. That's just a bit of background trivia about this car. We can talk about the car itself. There's three versions of the car available in this mod. There's the standard version, which is the 1965. I think it's a 1965 model, and it churns out about 425 brake horsepower, about 6,000 RPM, rear wheel drive, and it's got a 4.2 litre V8 from Ford. That's not the version we're racing, and the second version that's available, slightly up on power, 485 brake horsepower. I believe it also has a 4.2 litre engine. That is the Stage 1 replica, which has new brakes, better suspension, and ooh, that's gonna hurt. Slight ping into the ball exhaust signs. That's got a 485 brake horsepower engine. Again, a Ford V8, but it is a replica version, so like I was saying, the shocks improved, the braking's improved. Generally the car's more responsive and more modern, a bit more electronics, all that kind of thing, but still very tough car to drive. Then there's this version. This is basically the ultimate AC Cobra. This is the SC version, so the semi-competition, and this actually churns out 550 brake horsepower and has a 7 litre V8 Ford engine in it. So that's not something you're going to find on cars nowadays, a 7 litre engine. But back then, that's what it was. If you wanted a fast car, you put in a big engine. And this car with a 7 litre engine, and which is front mounted, and a rear wheel drive system, is a brilliant car. Very, very fun to drive in real life, and extremely fun to drive also in this game. And you're going to see how well simulated this is. It is still a work in progress, so the sounds are placeholders, even though they sound fairly good. So they'll be improved in the future. The actual model itself, so the texture and everything, has not been optimized, so you are going to get a bit of frame loss on it. But it's not that intense, and I think, you know, losing 10 or 20 frames is completely worth it for this car, because it's a fun car to drive. That's gonna hurt. Ooh, scraped. It's a really fun car to drive. It understeers at times, and well, most of the time it oversteers, but there are points where it does have a tendency to understeer. That can be dialed out in setup changes. The tires are all period, so you've got the old school performance tires, or the road tires for the original. You've got the modern road tires, or the performance tires for the replica, and for this you've got the period tires. I forgot what they were. I can't remember what company made them. It's can't remember it. Was it Bridgestone? I can't remember whether it was Bridgestone that made them or Goodyear. Could have been Goodyear tyres that are on this car. So that's all period, and they do all feel different. So all the cars are worth taking out to drive. It's not that you've driven one car, you've driven all three. They're all completely different, have a completely different feel, and they drive really, really well. You have to really be on it on this car. It's a lot more difficult to drive than, say, the GP2 cars that we drove last week, and the Go Faster stripes don't help. That was again a period thing. If you remember the Formula Challenge we had with the Lotus 49, which was a 1966 car, that also had Go Faster stripes on it. So that was kind of what happened in that era. You just saw there on that corner we had a bit of an understeer. So again, you've got to dial that out. You've got to work the car. You've really got to throw the car into a corner and then just hope it sticks. You can't just put power down straight on it, because it's not going to work. And you can't just put power. You think you're out of a corner and you just put the power down. That's also not going to work. You need to make sure that your power is properly done. And there was oversteer. Yep, that was oversteer right there. Lost it. Managed to get it straight back on. The tyres itself, they don't heat up as much as what we're used to in some of the purpose-built race cars. Having said that, these tyres don't need to heat up as much, and they were designed not to heat up as much. So you can see at the moment they're sort of running around 60 to 70 degrees. The tyre here, that's the limiting tyre on temperatures, is the front right. That's because of the nature of the track. And the tyre that would be worn out the most had we had tyre wear on would be the rear. It'd be the rear left at the moment that would be being worn out the most. Again, because of the nature of this track. We haven't put tyre wear on because I think with the amount of spinning around that we're going to do, we're not going to be able to get a lap out of it after a while. But you can see it's a fairly nice car to drive. I like it. I was taking this out for a drive earlier on. The steering is nice and weighty. The car doesn't feel like it's floating around. And when it does oversteer or understeer, you can feel it, and you can, well, not the understeer so much, but you can correct for the oversteer. And when you do correct it, and you end up having a really nice drift around the corner, it really does feel good. It does put a smile on your face. It's a really great car to drive. But yeah, that's pretty much all about the car. I think we can talk a bit about the track now. So the track we're at is Brands Hatch. Again, the track itself is a work in progress, but I think it's really nicely done already. If anything, I'd say the track surface I would require maybe slight changing on, just to make it look a bit more alive, and maybe the grass around the edges just give it a bit more liveliness. And to improve on the frames, I would have probably said maybe fix up the trees just a little, maybe get rid of some trees here and there. But apart from that, there really isn't anything to fault about this track. It's got the signs, it's got the fencing, it's got the logos, it's got the buildings, everything. The track itself, Brands Hatch, it's near Swanley in Kent, so that's in England. It used to be used as a dirt track in farmland, but it was then turned into a full-blown racetrack, and it's managed to host loads of events, including the British Grand Prix 12 times, the World Touring Car Championship, Formula 3000, the A1 GPs, the DTM. You've had British Touring Car Championships here, you've got the European Formula 3 and the British Formula 3 Championships here. You've got the Kart Championship, you've got the Rally Cross, and in 2012 you actually had the Summer Paralympic Games. Part of it was actually at Brands Hatch, so it does have a really good history amongst sport, not just motorsport, but also it has the history in the Paralympics, so Olympic sports. The car itself, the track itself is, it has how many corners? I think it's 9 corners in total, and one Formula 1 driver, a Gerhard Berger, once commented that Brands Hatch is the best circuit in the world. and you've got Paddock Hill Bend, which is the sort of straight after the start finish line, the downhill fast bend that then goes down right down the hill. That is one of the greatest corners in the world, and I've taken loads and loads of cars, not just in Assetto Corsa, but it's in Gran Turismo as well. And I've taken them in Gran Turismo, I've taken them in Assetto Corsa, and that corner is so much fun to drive. It really does put a smile on your face, especially when you get it right, because you have that just a slight amount of oversteer. You just do a slight counter steer and you just slide through that corner, and you're going at such high speeds in some of the cars. You can't believe the car will stick at that speed, but it does. It does stick at that speed. The track itself, we've got Paddock Hill Bend, and right now, where are we? We're coming down towards near the last corner, so we're actually coming down towards Clearways, and this is Clark Curve, so this is coming up near the pit straight. So, don't want to go down there, that's actually the pits. And this is known as the Brabham Straight, so we have got a lot of Formula 1 names here. And here comes that Paddock Hill Bend. Let's see if you can get it right. Third gear takes around the corner, and we've got the understeer. Oh, too much speed taken into that. When you get that right, it's really, really great. Now we're coming down Halewood's Hill, and we're coming up to Droids, and then we're going to come up to Graham Hill Bend after this. If we don't... Oh, come up to this and down the hill still, so it's got pretty intense elevation changes on this track. Down the Cooper Straight and then into Surtees Corner. Now the corner that is actually on the Indy circuit, so the one that actually goes off to the right here, that's actually McLaren Bend. So again, like I said, it's got lots of heritage in old motorsport names. And this is now Pilgrim's Drop. So a slight bump down the hill. Then we'll go into the Hawthorne Hill, which is now we're going up. Hawthorne's Bend. This is a nice fast bend. You can carry a lot of speed into it and really, really ride out to the corner. Derek Minter Straight down into the Westfield Bend. This one's got a runoff area, so you're okay if you run a little bit wide. And then we've got Dingle Dell Bend, and that's a difficult corner to pronounce. And Sheen Curve, which is where you just crash. And then we've got Sterling's Bend coming up at the end of this. Here we go, Sterling's Bend, and then we're back down the back straight and up to Clark Curve, and then down the pit straight again. So it's not that long a track. I think it's only it's only a couple of miles, 2.6 miles, 2.4 miles. I think it's 2.4 miles. But it's very, very, very nice to drive. Highly detailed. I think got to praise the model for here. You can even see the dirt that's actually on the signs on the side. You can see the dirt there. You've got the pits, the stands and the pit garages, the pit boxes and the buildings. You can see in the distance you've got the nice English countryside there. You managed to get that corner quite nicely done. And you've got all the signs and all the details are in. Yeah, there you go. You have a nice view of the dirt effects on the side. The only thing I'm going to comment on again is frames. These tracks do pose a bit of an issue on frames, and I'm going to say maybe the grass texture could be improved. I think the grass texture is a bit repetitive. If you had a larger grass texture up there, it would look a lot better. Oh, ping. Apart from that, there really isn't anything else to say about this. I think I'll just leave you guys to the rest of this lap, and we'll probably try and go around Paddock Hill Bend again. And yeah, I think next week we'll probably show possibly another car mod and another track. We're thinking of looking at Suzuka, and we're probably going to show off another mod that's been created by the creators of the GP2 car that we tried last week, and that is the Formula 1 2014 car. So looking forward to that. Please hit the like button on this video, leave a comment if you'd like to see anything specific, and subscribe to our channel for more videos. And we'll leave you to the rest of this lap. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week.